roll on it.
Okay. Yeah. And should I
Look at me.
look at you?
Yep, I'll
Yeah,
just ask
okay.
you, and the camera will just be off to the side. So, just to start at the beginning,
Yeah.
if I could ask you about your own military service, just to put it in perspective.
I was drafted. I was drafted out of Canada. I think I'm the only one who went. I was in graduate school, and my dad had served in World War II for 4 years, and my Uncle Bill's still missing in Korea. And so I wasn't going to be one of those people who took out Canadian citizenship, although Bill and I talked about that a lot, and we had some great conversations about it. Bill, just was a very stand-up, candid, open, huge supporter of veterans. He really, even when he worked at RG&E those many years, as Vice President Controller, he worked really under our current mayor, Tom Richards, as their controller, and he was always supportive of veterans, and so much so that he was part of the group that put together the Veterans Outreach Center while he was still working at RG&E. But here's a guy who had a very wonderful and successful career in business, who put his money where his mouth is, and joined the Veterans Outreach Center as their chief financial officer. To me, that's quite a tribute to him. You know, he spent a lot of time in Nam, and he came back, and as he said at that time, he sort of buried it, as many Vietnam veterans did, just because the public wasn't really separating the politics of the war from the warrior, which now, thank God, they do, and support our Iraqi and Afghani veterans, as it should be. But Bill was one of the champions of that. And Bill may not really be surprised that I want to speak about him, feel privileged to speak about him, because Bill, at one of my most difficult times, still working here at RIT, but building the Vietnam Memorial with no paid staff, we were struggling, and it was very difficult in the beginning. And Bill was one of those people, along with William Maxion, Nick DeLeo, Max Lill, of course, and a whole bunch of people who really kept my spirits up and really encouraged us to keep going for it and never give up. If that's something about Bill, he will never give up. If he wants to pursue something and make it happen, he'll put his entire being into it. And that's a quality I really respect greatly. He did a lot without much ego. He was never really had to be in the camera, but he was there for not just the organization, the Veterans Outreach Center, but for all the individuals that he worked with, for the clients, for his colleagues, for his superior. I mean, he really was what I call a stand-up guy, and is. And boy, I wish him the very best, because he's had a life well lived and a career well done, and you can't ask for much more than that.
Given Bill's Vietnam service, why do you think he was, in your words, why was he committed to supporting the veterans here at home?
Well, I think there were a couple things that motivated Bill to be so strong in the support of veterans. He experienced it himself, where he served admirably, and he knew how tough it was, but he knew it was wrong, the way society treated people when they came home. And it's why like many, stuffed the experience and really didn't talk about it. It was, to say the least, not popular. But as he matured and got a little bit further away from it, he realized, you know what? I put my life on the line. I served my country. I really want to support other people who've done the same, so that they don't have a similar experience being sort of shunned and not treated well. It was a big mistake that our society made, and Bill was a part of correcting it.
And certainly his involvement with Veterans Outreach Center, the center has made leaps and bounds over the 38 years that we've been serving Rochester.
You know, that center is one of a dozen that has made it. That's the only one. I don't know if people in Rochester realize it, but Veterans Outreach Center is extraordinarily unique. I forget the name of the organization that started to put them together, but none of them really survived. And in one of the ways that our VOC survived is by remaining viable financially. And one of the people who made that happen is Bill Reddy. Bill Reddy's has been a really force in making the VOC what it is today, and it's only going to get better. So he laid the foundation. He was one of the founders. He kept it on the right financial track, and made it possible now to serve veterans from coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan and future conflicts. Wars. You know, we called Vietnam a conflict. I think it was a war, but Bill was a champion, a real champion.
Any particular qualities of Bill that you admire?
Well, I always admire somebody with a sense of humor like Bill's, and Bill's sense of humor sometimes took a little while to get out, but when it got out, it was well worth it, the wait. But what I really like about him the most is his candor, and he'll look you in the eye and he'll tell you the truth, and he really cared about others. I like the fact that he wasn't really up there saying me. This is about the organization. This is about the service to veterans. This is about a lot of things other than me. I'm going to try and keep the organization on a stable financial footing. But I'm part of the team, and so he's a good team player. He would stand up for veterans no matter what, and some people don't always do that. They take the quiet route, and he had taken the quiet route in the early years, and then he realized that he had a calling to really make Veterans Outreach Center a viable and very successful organization.
I've been told by a few people that Bill Reddy must not understand the definition of the word retirement.
I can't see Bill Reddy retired. He's not going to retire from life. He'll move on and do a gazillion things to help make the world a better place, and to always keep in mind the well-being of veterans along the way. So yeah, he quote retired from RG&E, but he went on to take on a very full-time job with VOC, and I don't think he'll stop doing that.
Any final thoughts or words to Bill?
Just that I wish Bill the absolute best of luck, and as he moves on from this part of his life. He's got a lot to offer, and he's just one of the best people I met along the way, and I deeply appreciate the moral support he gave me as we were building the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And I'd like to meet a whole bunch of Bill Reddys for the rest of my life.
Excellent.
All right.